Well, after their heavy losses in the election, the Republicans are looking for leadership and direction. Could one of the options potentially be Governor Sarah Palin of Alaska? She got a hero's welcome upon her return to Alaska. Take a listen to this. You know what they're chanting? 2012, the next presidential election. Her supporters are making it clear they would like to see her on a national stage in 4 years. She certainly brought some energy and some enthusiasm to the ticket, and some potentially see her leading the party out of the troubles that they're facing right now. Let's talk about it with Charmaine Yoest. She's the former White House political director, former senior advisor to Mitt Romney. Terry Holt is with us as well. Good to see both of you. Terry,
thanks, Jane.
I want to start with you. Is it Sarah Palin's choice at this point if she wants to stay in Alaska or not? I mean, does she have the opportunity to go national?
Well, if there were a Senate race, I think she'd probably be a shoo-in. She's very popular from Alaska. She was a bright spot for an otherwise fairly gloomy election year for conservatives, but I think it's more likely that a permissive left-wing government in Washington will do more to energize the base than Sarah Palin. And there's some other strong leaders in our party, people like Mike Pence, who might be the conference chair here in the House of Representatives, the Republican conference chair, people like Mike Huckabee, who's on this channel. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
Charmaine, you agree?
Well, you know, as the president of Americans United for Life, one of the things that I think is really important as we look at this election is we're seeing a lot of the GOP establishment misread what really happened. This was an election that was fought under the twin crises of the financial crisis and the international crisis, and that gave the Democrats and Barack Obama the opportunity to really kind of gloss over the radicalism of their social agenda, particularly on the life issue. Barack Obama went in front of Planned Parenthood this summer and said that his #1 priority going into the White House would be to pass the Freedom of Choice Act. That's a very, very extremist piece of abortion legislation that would wipe away every single restriction on abortion that we've passed at the state level in the last 30 years. And yet, as we've looked at the record, we can't find a single national reporter who asked him a question about that. Even when it came up in the debates, FOCA didn't come up. So we're really concerned that there's a misreading of this election. And what I'll predict to you is that the leader who is willing to stand up and stand on life issues and family values is the one who's going to be able to move forward into the future, whether it's a Democrat or a Republican. And really, the Republicans should learn from the Democrats. The Democrats told us after 2004 that they were going to be taking Republican rhetoric and reaching out to values voters and people who care about the life issue. And you really saw Barack Obama using really brilliant rhetoric, as he always has, but particularly on the life issue, to sound moderate.
Hey, Terry, let's get to this idea. We talk about the potential of Sarah Palin being in a Senate race. I mean, this is how it could play out. It's not totally out of the question that Ted Stevens, who is in this very tight race, it's still too close to call today, that he potentially could win. He goes back to Washington. They basically kick him out because he was convicted of felonies. And she, in the interim, before a special runoff, a special election, she could appoint herself to be U.S. Senator from Alaska. Do you see it as a possibility?
Well, I'm not sure that would be a good idea, but she could certainly run for the job. And with her public approval ratings in Alaska and with probably some national exposure for that race, I think she stands a pretty good chance of being elected. But to appoint herself, I think, might be the one mistake she could make that could endanger that.
Yeah, I'm sure the attention would, she'd get a fair amount of negative attention if she chose to do it herself. But you're right, she could end up...
And, you know, she wasn't particularly well served. I think that, you know, locking her away the first couple of weeks after the convention took a little bit of the momentum out of the Palin phenomenon. And I think she's got some work to do to sort of come back from some damage that was done to her reputation, and a Senate race and some time in the Senate might be able to do that for her.
Charmaine, you know, she's getting beat up a bit by a lot of unnamed McCain insiders of the last 24 hours, saying that she's kind of to blame for the reason he didn't win. Will she be able to fight back against that and survive that, do you think?
You know, Jane, I really think she will. She's a political rock star because she's strong and courageous. And really, you know, in the NFL, when you do a late hit after the game, after play is over, you get a 15-yard penalty. And that's really what you see going on here, is people doing a lot of finger pointing and wanting to assess blame after the fact. I think she's going to be able to stand up and come back. She's so good at articulating the values that she's committed to, and that's her appeal to people, is that she doesn't run afraid from issues that are controversial.
Charmaine Yoest, former White House political director, and Terry Holt. Terry, I forgot your title before. I'm sorry. Former national spokesman
American.
for Bush Cheney 04. Thanks
Thank you
to both of you.
Thank you.